Hey, I'm Alex with Marc's Mobility. In this video, we're going to show you two of the larger scooters made by Pride Mobility, so stay tuned. So here in this video demonstration, we have the Pride Wrangler and we have the PX4. Like I said, these are two of Pride's largest scooters that they have on the market. The Pride Wrangler has a 450-pound weight capacity and the PX4 has a 500-pound weight capacity. Now, both of these units take sealed lead acid batteries. There is no upgrade for lithiums. We get that question from time to time. That will void your warranty if you put lithium batteries in any Pride scooter that is not sold by Pride. So do remember that. That does void the warranty if you do put lithium batteries in these units. What makes these units unique? There's a couple different things that make these units unique. I will start first with the Wrangler. There's nothing really else on the market quite like the Wrangler and sheer power, unless you start going to an ATV or something else that's not in this mobility scooter field. The Pride Wrangler has dual motors in the back and they're over 2,200 watts each. So you're getting about 7 horsepower is what that converts to on the Pride Wrangler. So if you're looking for something that has sheer power to take you off-road and almost all terrains, the Pride Wrangler is definitely the scooter to look at. Now, the Pride Wrangler, we did test this in Florida. We did take it to the beach where it's got sugar sand here in Florida that's really, really soft. Due to the tread pattern and due to the weight of the unit, it's about 340, 350 pounds. When you get in that really soft sand, it's going to spin. Now, if you were to have a place that had more like a boardwalk and you only had compact sand, not a problem at all. But do remember here in Florida with that sugar sand, it's just going to get, the sand's going to get in those tires and you're just going to spin in place. So I do get that asked from time to time, so I do want to make that known. It has all the power in the world, but it's just the traction. The PX4 is a 500-pound weight capacity scooter. It has up to an 1,800 watt motor. So it's not quite the same as the Wrangler, but it is a very, very comfortable ride. So the PX4, I've talked to the engineers at Pride. This has the best suspension out of any scooter they've come out with to date. They've actually put this with automotive grade connectors on here and DOT grade headlights. So your headlights and your connectors are automotive grade. This scooter is made to last longer than prior scooters they have made. So by putting in the automotive grade connectors, they really put a lot more care into this type of unit here. It's supposed to have about a 10-year life cycle before it's more cost effective to then end up replacing the unit as compared to keep parting it out. A lot of other scooters are kind of in that 5 to 7 year range. So do know that this unit is made to last. Now this unit's going to go about 9 miles an hour. The Wrangler is going to go a little over 11 miles an hour. Optimal conditions. Obviously, if you're not quite getting that full speed, it could be due to weight and the terrain or the incline that you're on. But I think this is about 11.3, 11.4, and this is about 9.3 is what the maximum speed is on these units. Now, on the Pride Wrangler, you do have two different battery options. They're both still lead acids, like I mentioned earlier, but you can get a 75 amp battery, which is going to get you up in that right around 20-mile range, and that's also depending on the weight. You got to remember, somebody that's going to be at the 450-pound weight range is not going to get the same as somebody get 200 pounds. Imagine driving in your car when it says you might get 30 miles on the highway. Well, hey, now if your car is loaded with 6 passengers and luggage, you're not going to get the same as a single driver driving that car in ideal conditions. It's the same with scooters. So do remember that if you're not getting the conditions or you're not getting the full distance and you're towards the weight capacity, you know, upper end of it, do know you're going to lose a little bit of what the specs might say. Now you can upgrade the Wrangler to 100 amp hour batteries, and that's going to get you on average 3 to 6 more miles on a charge. It might be a little farther depending on your weight, but 3 to 6 is probably a fair estimate of what you can go. So I think it's up to about 26 miles, 24 to 26 miles is what it is with 100 amps, I think at the lighter weight range individual. The PX4 only takes 75 amp batteries, so there's no battery upgrade on the PX4. It's just the one size. You can't even fit in there 100 amp hour batteries, so the PX4 only takes the 75 amp batteries. They're saying this on optimal conditions is going to be about 23 miles on a full charge. Now, what makes the PX4 a little bit different on the market as compared to every other scooter is the PX4 actually has a key fob, kind of like your vehicle. It cannot turn the scooter on by pressing a button, but it's got a chip in here that is specific to the scooter. So you are not able to operate this scooter without your little fob. You have to actually put the little fob over here on the side of the scooter. It will unlock the scooter, and then you're able to drive it. You are able to turn it on and see your dash, your display, your battery indicator, but it will not drive unless you scan this little key fob. So if you're looking for how do I secure my scooter, you know, some other scooters on the market, the keys are somewhat universal, so they're nervous. Well, how do I keep it secure? This unit, if you have a key fob, it's specific to your scooter. Nobody else can take it unless they have your key fob. The Wrangler, it's a key like most other scooters. Now, the Wrangler key is specific more to the Wranglers, but if somebody had another version of a Wrangler, obviously they would be able to put the key in and potentially take the scooter. I do always recommend to, because people typically ask this question when they're going in grocery stores or they're going in, let's say, Disney World or amusement parks, and they have to leave the scooter. I say, hey, we sell covers. Buy a cover, cover your unit up for two reasons. One, if it's not visibly seen, it's a lot less likely to be stolen or messed with. Two, you really don't want to leave these scooters out in the elements. So you don't know going into a ride that you might be gone for an hour at a theme park, coming back out, and all of a sudden it's getting poured on and rained on. You know, and just between that, you have birds, you have different things that could potentially, you know, create a mess on your scooter. So we do recommend covering your scooters at all times when you're outside, when it's unattended. And like I said, we do sell covers here that are custom made for these larger scooters. So if you do need a cover, let us know there as well. Few differences between these scooters. It's going to be tire size. So the Wrangler is going to have what they call about a 14-inch tire. If I had to guess, it's about a 5-inch width of a tire. You can just see visually on here the difference in size of tires. So the Wrangler is going to have bigger tires, which is probably also going to then translate into a higher ground clearance. So typically, the lowest point on all scooters is going to be at your motors. Do remember, if you're trying to compare apples to apples to different brands, whether it's Chinese brand or even other brands not Pride, not everybody mentions the motor ground clearance because they want to mention underneath the scooter, maybe at the deck height, which is going to be higher than at your motor. So if you're trying to compare apples to apples, make sure you ask, is that ground clearance at the motor or just at the deck? Because that is going to be different. On the Wrangler, you're going to have a ground clearance at your motors at about 5.5 inches. On the PX4, you're going to have about 3.5 inches. Now that is still a really pretty good high ground clearance. And you have to remember, when you're going over an object, speed bumps, tree roots, things like that, your drive tires are going to drive over and keep your motors the same distance off the ground while you're driving over an object. The only time you're going to run into an issue is if you were to hit a tree stump that's maybe cut 6 inches high, trying to go straight over it. Okay, that's different. That would maybe hit the motors. But climbing over objects, tree roots, speed bumps, things like that, not a problem at all. A couple other differences between these scooters. The Wrangler comes in 2 colors, and then sometimes they have a limited color. So right now they're running the limited camo edition version. Then they also have like this desert sand color, and they have more of a true blue type color. So there's 3 color options currently on the Wrangler. On the PX4, there's 5 different color options. This one's silver. You can kind of see where the silver overlay is in here, kind of over here. Now, what's kind of cool about this overlays here is Pride can actually send you a PDF file. I think it's PDF or a PNG file that's going to give you the actual cutouts. So if you want to take this and get a custom color, a custom logo, whatever it is to match your lifestyle, we can provide you with that file, so then you can kind of mix and match what you want your scooter and customize it to how you want it to look. Now, both of these scooters have different seat options. You can get up to a 22-inch seat on either option here. I believe on the PX4 there's no extra charge on the bigger seat. On the Wrangler, there is an upcharge. But on the Wrangler, I think you can get a 16, an 18, a 20, or a 22. And the PX4 is similar. It might be 18, 20, and 22. Knowing that it's a heavyweight capacity scooter, they're thinking that more people are going to be on the heavier side that are going to be using this unit. Now, the PX4 does come with 2 mirrors. These mirrors are a little bit unique because most mirrors, even like on this scooter, Most mirrors are going to attach up here on the tiller, so while you turn your handlebars, your mirrors are going to turn with you. Here, it's a different type of steering system, unlike most scooters. It's more like in a vehicle, how it turns, and your mirrors are attached to the side, so it's not going to affect when you're turning the scooter. You're still going to be able to see behind you. So if I had to break down the advantages and disadvantages of these types of scooters, if it's something that's going to be strictly for outside, going across your property, going longer distances, things with different types of terrains, the Wrangler is the scooter for you. If you want something that's pure comfort, that's safe, with the key fob that nobody can take, the PX4 is probably going to be the option for you. The PX4 is going to be a little bit smaller. It's going to turn a little bit smaller of a turning radius. So the PX4 is going to be a lot better option if you were like, hey, but I am close to that weight capacity. I still need to go with some power. I still need to go a little bit all-terrain, but I also maybe want to go into Walmart, Publix's, things like that. This is going to be a whole lot easier to maneuver than this unit is. And now do remember, this unit is an FDA Class 2 medical device, so it's non-taxable in most states as long as you have a prescription. The Wrangler is called a leisure scooter. So the leisure scooter is most likely going to be taxable in most states. So that's kind of a difference to FDA Class 2 medical devices you can get a prescription for. Leisure scooters, you can't. It's kind of like going to buying a car. You're going to pay the sales tax where you're at. This unit is a beast. You can see I'm 6 foot tall, 220 pounds. Something I did not mention in the video earlier is the seat to ground height is quite a bit higher. So I did have a lady that said, hey, she wanted to do some gardening, but she wanted to be able to reach over and get the ground. I mean, you can see I'm not handicapped and I'm young, and it's still hard for me to get over to touch the ground. So do think about that if you're trying to slide transfer over. The seat is higher off the ground than what it will be on the PX4. But when we're talking about sheer power, comfort, I mean, you feel like you're driving a tank, and not in a tank in a bad way, a tank in the powerful way. So it's super smooth. It's very comfortable ride. Like I said, it can go in all types of terrains, over trees, tree stumps, things like that, and so can the PX4. But for sheer power, you really feel like you are in a solid machine sitting here. So you can see here, I mean, that's a decent sized tree root right there. I mean, you can see the suspension. I mean, look at how I have one tire off the ground and it's still not tipping over. I mean, that's got tons of power. I mean, there's not a lot of scooters that can do that. So you imagine, I mean, that was even me going slow. You could fly over objects like that and not have any issues. So like I said, check out the Wrangler. So like we talked about earlier in that video earlier, the suspension on this unit is fantastic. You can see how it stops really quick. I feel very, very comfortable in this unit. It's not quite as wide and as beefy as the Wrangler, but you can see it's a lot easier for me to reach over and touch the ground. Your seat to ground height is not nearly as high, but you still have a nice seat. You have good leg room. You can kick your feet out. And do remember, I mean, this actually also has a temperature gauge on here as well. Very, very unique unit on the type of digital display that it has. Very comfortable, still has the 1800 watt motor, single motors, but it's still very powerful with the DOT grade headlights and the automotive connectors. Very comfortable. The suspension is fantastic, and I'm going to drive it in a similar thing, go over the similar routes and kind of see how it apples to apples compares. So you can see I'm going to come right in this similar area. I know the deck is not nearly as high, so you can see it still has the power to climb over things. It's not tipping on inclines, so it's still going to perform very, very well. You can still do kind of what you did with the Wrangler, not to the same extreme, but it's also a little bit more compact of a unit, so you are able to take it inside grocery stores and shopping centers. So also check out the PX4. So that's kind of the difference between these two scooters. They're both fantastic scooters on the market by Pride Mobility. They're in a similar price point. If you have any questions, give us a call. We'd love to speak to you about these units.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.